Hi everyone, my name is Emily Tofty-Nastavel. I'm the Executive Director here at the Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about Senate Bill 014. Senate Bill 014 is sponsored by Senator Cook and Senator Fields, and we're very grateful to them for their leadership in ensuring that victims' rights are upheld in a myriad of statutes. So this bill has to do with the Interstate Compact Agreement and whether or not a victim has the right to know the location of their offender. And under the Colorado Victim Rights Act, the victim has the right to know the location of their offender currently. DOC has consistently argued that that is in conflict with the Interstate Compact Agreement. So Senator Cook and Fields and the sponsors over in the House of Representatives are trying to make important changes to ensure that victims' rights are upheld through the Interstate Compact and provide clarity. Today we provided testimony about the bill, and to some it might be a little bit confusing why we're not showing enthusiastic support of the bill as it's proposed. There is quite a bit of victim support for this, and we wanted to take a moment to explain a little bit about why we think there's still changes that need to be made, and are very hopeful that we will get to the changes that we need to move this forward in a positive way for all victims across the state of Colorado. One of the provisions of the bill says that the district attorney shall be notified if DOC chooses not to disclose the location of the inmate, and if the district attorney disagrees, that they can bring it before a judge. That was an amendment introduced today, and we're very supportive of that amendment. However, that amendment does not address what happens if both the DA and the DOC are in collaboration and agreement about about withholding this information from victims, and what kind of notification does a victim get, what is their voice in that process, and how do we ensure that no one is unintentionally or intentionally waiving the rights of victims on their behalf. As we have stated loud and clear before, that nobody can waive victims' rights except for the victim themselves. And so we just want to make sure that there's clarity in this bill to ensure that we don't create more conflict between the VRA and the Interstate Compact Agreement. Further, there's a few provisions about the exceptions where victims wouldn't be given this information. And while we understand that the exceptions are very much grounded with the intent that DOC has staff that they must keep safe, that they must keep inmates safe, that's what they're charged to do, we also think that it flies in the face of the Victim Rights Act to say that in certain circumstances we're not going to uphold a victim's constitutional right to information. And when we have an issue of safety or concern, that's typically when we enhance the safety of the persons or people who are at risk. That's not when we start to take away the rights of victims. So we do have concerns about that. There are a few other things, but we have been in communication and talking with those who are sponsoring the bill to make sure that we get some of these things fixed. Usually the first drafts that go before any committee or that are proposed aren't the final drafts, and there's a lot of changes that happen along the way. We are carefully monitoring those and watching those because, as I said earlier, we want to make sure that any changes that are made do not decrease the rights of victims, and we will always advocate for the rights to be upheld as they are written in the enabling legislation of the Victim Rights Amendment. If you have any questions, we're always here to answer them. Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center is excited to be doing this work and to make sure that our laws stay strong as we move forward. You can always reach out to us via our website at www.rmvictimlaw.org, or feel free to tweet or contact us via Facebook. We're always excited to engage in collaboration and conversation about how we can move victim rights forward and make sure that the rights that are afforded to victims are consistently upheld and enforced. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to keeping you posted as we continue to monitor this important legislation.